session is about state bank transformation, and we are very grateful to Dr. Arshad Hussain to come here, and I'm apologizing on behalf of the class that we are behind the schedule, which is not really very common in IBA. We very strictly follow our deadline, but I think we missed 15-20 minutes behind the schedule. The topic is basically we would like to learn from Dr. Arshad's experience about how he was able to transform State Bank of Pakistan and what was his learning and experience. And as a leader, what challenges he faced while he was trying to change the mindset, the systems, the structure, the policies, and how he managed those challenges. So I think the idea is to have some reflection, and then after Dr. Arshad's presentation and talk, we would like to have an open discussion. What can we learn as a future leaders and future managers, what we learn from the session, and learn and apply those knowledge and skills in our own experiences. So I'm very grateful to Dr. Arshad. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for having me here. How many of you have actually read the case study? I want to get an idea before I start. The case study on the State Bank, which was circulated to you.
Briefly.
Case study if you have not read it. So, the first requirement of a future leader is that they take their assignments very seriously. I mean, that is an attribute which is going to take you to places, I can assure you that. The difference between successful leaders and unsuccessful leaders is not their intellect. Maybe both of them are of the same level, or some of the unsuccessful are even smarter than the successful, but it is the hard work they put in, the application, and the earnestness with which they take their jobs. Unfortunately, in our society, casual attitude is very common, and that won't take you very far. So I'll start with this sermon to you because I believe that this is very important that I have very candid discussion with you rather than, very diplomatic, which doesn't help you. So the first requirement is that you should be prepared, and particularly in academic environment, because the whole idea is learning from each other and learning from the collective wisdom, because the collective wisdom assembled here is enormous. It just completely shades into insignificance the 71-year experience of mine, because all of you have 1,000 years of experience. So the class discussion and interchange is the most important part of your learning process. And that's why if you come prepared, then you will be able to make some very meaningful participation. Otherwise, like our anchors, we shoot from the hip, and what is our opinion, we just blast that out without understanding what the background or what the context is. So that is something which I wanted to share with you right at the beginning. My favorite person on the leadership who I think has made a lot of contribution on the leading for change is a professor of Harvard Business School called John Kotter. How many of you have heard John Kotter's name? One. Okay. He, I think, has carried out the most extensive studies of transformation of corporate sector, not only in the United States, but all over the world. And he continues to do that. And what he starts with in his book, and I would recommend if you get a chance to read that, is why do transformations fail? And his basic hypothesis, which is very appealing to me, is that we always talk about success stories. And we say, this has been successful. But behind one success, there are 10 failures. In the United States, the venture capital funds invest on an average in 7 to 8 companies, startups. Only one, for me at least, is learning from failures. Then you can begin to reflect upon those lessons when you are carrying out your own functions. What does this require to learn from the failures? Is a mindset. A mindset which is open and which does not believe in being defensive or passing on the buck to somebody else, or blame the luck, or blame the other guy, or blame the organization, or blame the economic conditions in the country, or whatever the blame is. That, I think, is extremely important. In this class of 30 people, I can predict that only few of you will make it to the top. Why? You may be extremely competent in your own fields, but it is your attitude and your mindset which will really exalt you to the top or will keep you where you are. So it is how you look upon your own personal growth. If your attitude is, I know all the answers, I am the best, others are actually shortchanging me, I don't make any mistakes, this is the environment which is really not conducive. It is my boss who doesn't allow me to do things. I don't think you're going to go anywhere. So this is the most important thing. Talk about people, knowledge, skills, but for leadership, the values and the attitude are the most important element which will distinguish those who make it from those who do not make it. And that's why I start with Cotter. And Cotter says, why do we want to change? Why does any corporation want to change? Is it change for the sake of change? That this is a fancy thing to do, that you attract a lot of attention, that this organization is going through a change. And his argument is that the whole environment around us, nationally, industry-wide, as well as globally, is moving at such a glacial speed that you do not catch up. You are left behind in this competitive world. So catching up with the competition and positioning yourself for the future is the motivating factor for transformation or for change management. If, we bank considers that, it's doing extremely well, it doesn't need to do anything. It has been very successful, it is business as usual. That is error number one, according to Cotter. Those who are complacent and they feel that their past success will take them to the future, then that's the first mistake we are making.